episode of Writer's Block is one that the whole family and grandma can enjoy. Gather around, kids, because today we're going to talk about while I do think being a college student is a good wardrobe for death, I think I've got a better one. I'm going to do a quick wardrobe change. There we go. I think we need a better atmosphere in here too. So let's see. Didn't pay the electric bill. I'll be right back. Yeah, don't enroll in auto pay. So, we're going to talk about death today. Why talk about death? Well, death is very important in good writing. Some of the best writing deals with death. Some of the most popular books of all time deal with death. Harry Potter, A Song of Ice and Fire, the Bible, and then there's books about dogs. If you're going to write a book about a dog, well, I think we have a good idea how it ends now. I mean, Marley and Me, Where the Red Fern Grows, Old Yeller. I don't think we've gotten the last Clifford the Big Red Dog book yet, but I have a pretty good idea what's going to happen to him. A wise man once said, if it bleeds, it leads. Who said that? Well, some guy who's probably dead. So what makes good writing when it comes to death? Well, I like acronyms and initialisms and all that stuff. So I'm going to do something like that. So the D is for determination. Dealing with death in your writing shows determination. It shows some serious commitment to your characters and to the story you're creating. Because you're not fooling around. If you deal with death in your story, you're showing, look, this is not just a story. I'm dealing with something pretty serious here, something pretty heavy, something very real. So that's what makes death part of good writing, is that it demonstrates determination from the author. The E is for everyone. Well, we all got to go sometime, right? So, by dealing with death in your writing, you're dealing with something that everyone has to go through. Everyone will die. Everyone is going to lose a loved one, several loved ones most likely. So if you deal with death in your writing, you're dealing with something universal. And it's one of the, if not the most difficult thing that anyone has to deal with. So you're dealing with something that is very difficult, very important, and very universal. A is agony, pain. We all like pain in our writing. Nobody wants to read a story about things going totally fine and no one has any real problems and everything is resolved and we all live happily ever after without anything even leading to the happily ever after. It's like I talked about a couple of videos ago about the but and the therefore. We like conflict in our writing. And what better conflict than this one right here? T is truth. Death is very real. And if you deal with death in your story, you're demonstrating some authenticity. You're showing, look, I'm not just creating this happy-go-lucky world where nothing goes wrong. I'm also giving you a world that has some truth to it. Because just like people die in the real world, your characters and your story, you want it to feel very real as well. You want to feel like, I mean, at least as far as the themes and as far as what the characters experience, even if it's a fairy tale or something fantasy, you want it to have some element of truth to it, at least underneath. So that is the strong point of dealing with death in your writing, is that you're confronting some great truth. And finally, the H, the most important one, which is how. Because yeah, everybody dies, and everybody has to deal with the death of a loved one. But more importantly, it's the how. It's not how do they die necessarily, but how do the characters respond to that? How do they deal with it? How do they grow? Death in your story leads to a lot of hows. The characters have to learn more about themselves, they have to change, they have to become almost entirely different characters by the end of your story because of the death that they deal with. So, how? That's what makes writing good, is you have something that's very real, something that everyone has to go through, something that is very powerful, very difficult, and you're not just showing it for what it is. You're expressing an attitude towards it. You're talking about what you think and feel about it. It's not enough to just say, hey, people die. Well, we all know that. But once you add the how, then you're expressing an attitude behind it, and you're demonstrating how we can deal with this. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week where we'll talk about some more pleasant subjects like the writing process. I think we'll just talk about death again.